She's a rebel and she'll never ever be any good. She's a rebel and it doesn't mean anything just because she doesn't do what everybody else does. There's no reason why we can't share our love. She's a rebel, no, no. She's no rebel, no, no, no. She's no rebel, no, no, no. She's no rebel, no, no, no to me. Guys, things are not always traditional. Sometimes you have to think outside of the box. Hello, my Karma babies. Yes, this is part 2 of how to make delicious sweet caramel from condensed milk, sweetened condensed milk. That's what you want to make sure that you get from the store. Well, before we begin, my name is GrannyKarma, and I want to welcome you to my channel. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit that notification bell so that you'll be notified each and every time that I post a video. Thank you so much, my Karma babies, for joining me today. Today, I'm going to show you an amazing recipe. One ingredient, sweet, beautiful golden caramel. Okay, so I'm going to show you this really difficult task. So come on and join me. I got everything set up, okay? Okay, so what I have is Eagle brand, and it's sweetened condensed milk. So this is a very simple recipe, and if you take a look at the part 1, you're going to see how they made it back in the day. Now that was back in the day because they didn't have crock pots. I'm going to make it in the crock pot. So that's going to take a time. You know, crock pots take a little time. It's going to take about 7 or 8 hours. But, you know, you put it on in the morning and you go about your day, and by the time dinner comes, you have your sweet, beautiful caramel. Okay, so all we have to do is we're going to take the lid, and I want you to see how beautiful that looks. Look at that. Look how beautiful that is. And we're just going to pour it in our jars. Yummy, yum, yum. We're going to pour it up to the 1-inch line, which is going to be the very first line. The very first one. We're going to stop. Okay? And we'll just continue on. We want to make sure we get every drop of this deliciousness out of here. You know, this is going to be so good. My grandbaby wanted to make caramel candy apples with it. That's what she wanted to do. I want to put some over my 2-ingredient biscuits. And also on some ice cream. Yes. You want to get as much of this out as you can because you don't want to waste it. You do not want to waste it. Okay. So let's open up our next can. This is the hardest part of it, opening up the cans. This is the hardest part. I have no nails, so I'm going to have something to help me open it. Oh, that's a flat one. You ever have one of those flat ones that don't want to cooperate? They really flatten it. Guess what? I was trying to open it the wrong end, guys. Learn from Granny. Learn from Granny. And of course I spilled something, and we all know I always spill something, so I'm not cutting it out. That's what happens in the kitchens, right? You spill some, and some you don't spill. Okay, so let's get to pouring right there by our 1 inch. And I'm going to fill all of these jars here. I have 8 jars, and they are half-pint jars, half-pint sizes. The perfect combination for just, you know, one person. Yes. Just a very perfect amount for one person. I can see that I'm going to have to do a lot of cleanup. Okay, so let's open our next can and open it from the right end, guys. Don't do like me and open it from the wrong end. Don't open it from the wrong end. Just pour it up to that first line. Can you see that? Let me get out of your way. Pour it up to the first line. Look how beautiful that is. Just like that. Just the way it is beautiful. So, what we have going on right now is I have opened 3 cans. And we have 4 half-a-pints. Okay? So I'm going to continue opening this, and then we'll go to the next step, guys. I'll see you back here in a few minutes. So welcome back, guys. I wanted to show you that I used 5 cans of the sweetened condensed milk, and I was able to get 7 half pints without it having any remainder. Now, the next step, just as you do normally with anything else, you are going to debubble. Try to get as many bubbles out as possible. And since it's a pretty good, you know, heavy cream, you really don't have to worry about debubbling too much. And then go to the next one and just debubble it. You're going to have to make sure you clean the jars off really well, because it's a lot of sugar, a lot of sweet, and we don't want our lids to not seal. So I can see bubbles in this one, so I'm just going to go up and down a couple of times. Now my jars are, I sterilized them and then I set them aside so they are at room temperature. Just like my condensed milk is at room temperature. My lids are at room temperature. Let's get all of that away. And when I add the water in my slow cooker, it's going to be at room temperature. And we're going to, now I just have plain water, because I don't want any of the vinegar taste to get into my delicious caramel. You guys know what I mean, okay? I know I'm really bad at this. My daughter was trying to tell me, "Ma, that's not the way you pronounce it." But you know what? When they get to tasting it, they're not going to care how I pronounced it, right? This is so easy, guys. This is something that you can do with, you know, family members, your grandkids, your kids. And it's just amazing to see the transformation of how, just by simmering this for 7-8 hours, you turn it from condensed milk to caramel. Very interesting. Okay, so now we're going to put our lids on, each one. And my lids have just been sitting in some warm water. And it cooled down a little bit. You don't have to boil the lids or anything. We're going to fasten these fingertip tight. Just fingertip tight. My Karma babies told me, Granny, you are going a little bit too tight. So I learned. And we're all learning this together, right guys? So what an amazing journey. What a fun journey, okay? Because we're preparing ourselves. Now, I have my crock pot here. I'm going to add regular room temperature water. And we're going to we're going to cover the lid. Get in, and if you pull, on top of there, so what? Because you got to cover that anyway, right? So once I get it all covered up and everything, I'll come back so that you can see that. So here we have our 7 half-pint jars in our water. Look how beautiful the color is. I want you to see the color again prior to us doing the completion of the 7-8 hours. It's a beautiful kind of a beigey, white, creamy color, and it's completely covered. I brought it up as far to the top that I could, and I'm going to put it on low. We're going to cover it, and we will come back in 7 to 8 hours. Okay, you guys. Granny wasn't going to make it that easy on you. I have the Great Value sweetened condensed milk. So I thought now would be a perfect time to compare the two. So when you go to the store, you can decide which one you want to buy. Now, the Eagle brand, I believe it was like $2.42, somewhere around up in there. The Great Value is cheaper than the regular name brand. So I'm going to do the same process. I'm going to include it in the same video, and we're going to taste test both of these. So I have another crock pot. I'm going to start it immediately so they'll be ready at the same time. And we're going to see if it's worth spending the extra money or stay on a budget, okay? It's been about 8 hours, and I kept them separate so that I could see which ones are which. This is the Great Value ones, and I am very, very satisfied, guys. Very satisfied. Look at that. Went in a white, milky, creamy, and came out a beautiful golden brown. And let's take the Eagle brand out. Listen at that pop. And what I love about it is that you just, you put it there and you forget it. Now these look almost identical. They look almost identical, except for the Eagle brand is just a little shade lighter. Just a little bit of a shade lighter. And I'm loving that pop. I'm loving that they're sealing. Listen at that. Amazing. They're popping in my hands. Listen at that. What an easy chore, huh? Easy peasy. Easy peasy. Put it in the jar, put some water over it, put it in a crock pot, and you've got yourself a treat that's gonna last you for a long time. They are sealing beautifully. Yes. We got one more. So let me make a little room here. For this one. Like I said, don't worry about the water on the top. It will evaporate. Now we've got, I believe it was 10 cans, and we've got 3, 6, let's see, 3, 6, 9, 12, 13, 14 half pints. And you know, this is really expensive to purchase in the store. I paid $2.42. I think it was $2.42 for the Eagle brand, and or $1.72. We're all done, and we're just gonna let that sit here overnight. Let me lean down so I can see you. I hope you got benefit from this video, and I really enjoyed it. It was a thrill. It was exciting to see the transformation. It was like a miracle. It was like a miracle. I really enjoyed that. It's got to be a sin to have this much fun and get this much enjoyment out of cooking and discovering new things, and listening and enjoying those pops. So watch both videos, guys, and give me a thumbs up. And remember, how others treat you is their karma, but how you respond, my babies, how you respond, my karma babies, is your karma. Take a look at these again, guys. And tomorrow we will come back and label everybody. She's a rebel and she'll never be any good. She's a rebel and it doesn't mean anything just because she doesn't do what everybody else does. There's no reason why we can't share our love. She's a rebel, no, no. She's no rebel, no, no, no. She's no rebel, no, no, no. She's no rebel, no, 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 to me. Guys, things are not always traditional. Sometimes you have to think outside of the box. Absolutely amazing. Juicy. Beautiful. This is the caramel. The next day, that was in the cans. The next day. Beautiful, creamy, delicious. Another hint that I would like to give you guys, whenever you get ready to eat your apple, put your apple in a little warm water. You know, let it sit there for a little bit. It'll take all that wax off and make your apple much, much more enjoyable. But if you have some caramel, you cannot go wrong. So guys, I sang that little song for you to let you know that some of the items and some of the things that I do will not be traditional, and they are considered rebel canning. You know the word rebel, someone who doesn't do things always the traditional way. And so this recipe and some of the other ones that I've done made me think, wow, Granny, you're a rebel. And it reminded me of this song that I had in my head from 1964, the Crystals, called He's a Rebel. So whenever I do one of these non-traditional canning videos, I will let you know that this is a rebel canning and you must do your research, and you must decide if it's one that you want to do or if it's not one that you want to do. Now, I'm not going to recreate something that, you know, may be a fail. The ones that I'm doing are usually ones that have been around for generations and generations, like this with my grandmother, going into the kitchen and doing it, you know, and making it. And, you know, as a child, being so like in awe of what did Granny do and how did she do it. So that had to be in the 50s. In the 50s when she did that, you know, 50s, early 60s. So guys, I love you, and I'll see you in the next video. I'm gonna let you go.